That is not good. Did we make a bad call? That's what it's looking like. That was why we did this whole thing, wasn't it? What'd we miss? And we're back on this Buick Enclave. It has been actually a few months since we looked at this last, and I'm trying to refresh my memory on what we were doing. We called a bad fuel pump control module for a incorrect fuel tank pressure data parameter. Does that ring a bell, Caleb? We have a code, I'm showing it right now. Fuel tank pressure sensor circuit low is the code. And when we go to the scan data, let me show it to you real quick. What we're showing is a fuel tank pressure sensor voltage of 0. And Caleb, do you remember we did pinpoint tests at the module itself, and we had good signals for the fuel tank pressure sensor. So here's the direction of flow. My memory is the fuel tank pressure inputs wiring go directly to the fuel pump module, which I have a new one here in my hand. Fuel pump module communicates that via the network to tell the engine computer what our fuel tank pressure is. And so that sensor signal right here on the scan tool that we're looking at on the engine computer, that fuel tank pressure sensor input does not come to the engine computer. Where does it go? It goes to the fuel pump control module, and that communicates that info on the network. And so that was our call. That's why we're calling a faulty fuel pump control module. And from what my memory serves me is that this problem was there from the get-go. I remember now, Caleb, this had a Dorman fuel pressure control module in there, which we believe was inaccurately called because of all the chewed wiring. Someone just threw a module in, it didn't fix it, and then fixed the wiring afterwards to get the car to run, and Jared's had this problem. The owner of the car, his name's Jared, he's had this problem ever since, and we're saying faulty part. They put in a Dorman fuel pump control module, and yeah, we're not going that route. We have an AC Delco one. That's our AC Delco number, okay? Unfortunately for us, we have to program this. Not a big deal. It's $40 for a subscription for one car for the year for all the modules, and we have to do that. So we're gonna throw this module in. When we're done, as soon as we change this module, we should have a fuel tank pressure sensor voltage signal even before we program it, my guess, as long as they can talk. I don't know what data we'll have, we'll see. We're gonna change this module out, go from there. So I remember this car now because really the whole front part of this video, I just was MFing this car because of all of the damage to the wiring. So Caleb's got his job cut out for him as far as editing this thing. And these are bolted from the top. That's dumb. 10 millimeter and a prayer and some PB blaster, Danner. Dude, there is no way this is coming out. Okay, so if I take the top bolt and bend it down, that's what someone did last time. This is what a 10 millimeter bolt head looks like in the Rust Belt of Pennsylvania. Look, it's round. There's no edges.
It's completely round.
Yeah, that's never coming out. With any kind of luck, we'll get this one out. So I had my brother do some other wiring repairs after we got frustrated that we found more chewed on up front, and I just had my brother finish the rest of it. We're just gonna do our part here and let him handle the rest. Yeah, that's exactly what someone did last time, what I'm doing right now.
Thank you.
Yep. Garbage. My brother said when he tried to get a replacement Dorman part, they don't even make them anymore. In my opinion, this never needed a fuel pump control module. I believe it was misdiagnosed. I think we talked about that in part 1 like 2 months ago. That this issue was some parts changers, had a code, changed a part, never needed it, ended up being chewed wiring that they found. They fixed some of the wires, not all of them, and then they built in this problem with this Dorman part. You know, there's been a whole heck of a lot of problems we've been having lately with aftermarket parts across the board, not just Dorman, across the board. Got a case study on a Hyundai with an evap leak. I'll share a link in this I'm not gonna mention what it was. We'll just say it's related to aftermarket parts. It just makes our job so much more difficult. It's hard enough to make the right call when it comes to a faulty component. And then when you get a new one that adds problems, you second guess yourself. You're like, well, did I make the right call? Why is this doing this? There's no way I got 2 bad parts, you know, those types of things. Let's see what we got. Okay, fuel tank pressure of 0 is not good, but is that because it's not programmed yet? Could be, because that's talking on the network. Let's go to our fuel pump. Fuel rail pressure sensor circuit low. Control module not programmed. So fuel rail pressure would be given from the engine computer. That makes sense that that would be there. Let's clear these. No codes. Test and procedures after repair. If the fuel pump module is replaced, it must be programming using SPS programming. Yes, sir. Probably a no start at this point. It actually runs, surprisingly. Fuel rail pressure sensor performance, and it just stalled. So that was just running off a residual. No active vehicle. Plug this guy in using our CARDAC. All right, so I already paid for this, and what I'm gonna do is add a VIN, which is for this Buick, and then we did all this Java crap and updates, and I'm using a Windows 7 PC, so we don't have tech support for that. It has to be Windows 10, but Matt's my tech support, so. You know, the other question, something that you guys missed too, is there's my list of aftermarket J2534 devices, and my CARDAC M that I have, it says, please contact the device manager, and I called Matt, and he said, don't worry about that, it'll still work, so just hit continue. And maybe that's where our problem is here, but this is where I keep getting stuck. Although that did just ding at me.
Yes, it did. I heard that.
Yes!
No.
We read it. It's so stupid. Programming is so stupid. I mean, I had to restart my computer. It wouldn't talk, and now it does. It's just so dumb. Just hate it. So I just got to make sure this VIN is right. Yep. That's us. So we hit next. And what we wanted to do is find our fuel pump control module. We want to go normal. I'm texting my friend Matt right now. I've paid for his time, so I don't feel bad anymore. He says normal. So my question was, do I go normal or VCI? He said normal. Turn ignition off, remove existing controller from vehicle, install new controller. I already did that. Turn ignition on. Hit next. New software for start of production. That's what we want. That is selected. Hitting next. Hitting next. HVAC, DPM, RC DLR may stop communicating and become non-functional after programming. If this happens, do not replace the HVAC. Functionality can be restored by cycling battery power to the HVAC DPM control module. So cycling battery power, that means removing power from it, from the HVAC module. Okay, that's good to know. Stupid programming. Stupid programming. Let's see. Required clearing DTCs. We erase stored data from all controllers on the data link connector. I definitely want to do that. Action is complete. So the car should start now. Proceed with same VIN. I'm not doing any other programming other than this. So do I just cancel it or close it? All right. Let's see what we got, Caleb. See if she runs. I'll get my Varus connected again and see if we have a fuel tank pressure reading. Key off. Disconnecting. It runs. We have blower speed inside, so our HVAC controller is working. I do have an ABS light on, but I believe we had a wheel speed sensor fault for that. Better have a fuel tank pressure reading on here. I'll be angry if we do not. Fuel tank pressure circuit low voltage. That is not good. Did we make a bad call? That's what it's looking like. Let's see. Turn that HVAC module off. Okay, no codes present. That's good. I was able to clear it. It doesn't mean it won't come back. Please, please. Fuel tank pressure voltage 0.
Uh-oh.
That was why we did this whole thing, wasn't it? What'd we miss? See what ABS code we have. There are no current ABS codes. I mean, I have questions in my mind. One of them is I have an ABS light on that should not be there. Check engine lights back on. So we threw the dormant part under the bus for no reason. That's what it's looking like. Fuel tank pressure sensor circuit low voltage. It's saying I have no codes in the ABS system, but I have an ABS light on. Danner, when this came in, was the ABS light on? So I have an ABS light on, but no codes.
It's probably because you were running it.
I know, but I cleared all the codes. And we didn't fix this either, by the way. Our fuel tank pressure is why we did this, but I'm worried about the ABS light on now with no ABS faults. So we have two problems now. I have an ABS light on and traction control light on that I can't get rid of. We still have our issue back there. So I'm getting a service traction control light up here, but that's part of the ABS system. And when I scan all the modules, I have nothing. I have no codes other than my fuel tank pressure. That's like instrument cluster type stuff. We'll maybe do a battery disconnect, do like a cap discharge. But now I gotta go back to this pressure sensor, the evap pressure sensor. Man, this is frustrating.
Yeah.
All right, so we lost a little audio. I'm not sure where we left off, but I was concerned I had an ABS light on and a traction control light on. I had no codes for it. I turned the key off, waited, started it back up. We were gonna do a cap discharge because it did tell us to do a battery reset for, like, there were 3 other modules. I don't know what the acronyms were or abbreviations were. One was the HVAC module. But that may be what happened there. But I did a key off, restarted it, ABS light is off. There are no codes for that, so we're good. Now, again, this is 2 months ago. I believe we made a bad call, and we've been attacking the whole time, from my memory, we've been attacking a fuel tank pressure sensor fault. And if you remember, Caleb, I said the fuel tank pressure sensor feeds into the fuel pump control module, and then that information is shared on the network. That was why we made the call. Okay? Here's the problem. The fuel tank pressure sensor goes to the engine computer, not the fuel pump module. Guess what pressure sensor goes to the fuel pump module? The fuel pressure sensor. The fuel pressure sensor is on the fuel rail. The fuel tank pressure sensor is for the evap system that's on the tank. So we were testing the fuel pressure sensor circuit, not the fuel tank pressure sensor circuit. That's where we went wrong.
Great.
This never needed a module. This never needed a module. I'm gonna eat this. So as you guys are watching this, look, we got programming out of it, you know, and that kind of stuff. This is a friend of mine's car. This is my bad call. I'm gonna eat it. But this makes me feel better about the whole job, the whole process. And I wish I had a memory of 2 months ago and what we did and why. But here's my fuel tank pressure sensor we're looking at on the screen. And let's look at where this goes. This is the one I'm pretty sure that we were checking. Yeah, because I remember a 5-volt ref, a low ref, sensor signal. That's the only sensor that comes in here. That's the only sensor that comes into the fuel pump flow control module. Caleb, that has to be the sensor we were looking at. Guess where the fuel tank pressure sensor goes? Here's my fuel FTP sensor, fuel tank pressure sensor, FTP sensor, fuel tank pressure sensor. I have them highlighted. We have a shared circuit with the thermistor part of the fuel tank assembly. Sorry, not thermistor, that variable resistor, that's my float. So that would be most likely reference, or that would be a ground wire. That'd be a shared ground. But here's the thing, watch these 3 wires and watch where they go. Across the page, ignore the fuel tank pressure or fuel rail pressure, that's that one going down to the fuel pump control module. Follow the other 3 highlighted wires. I know that we're moving fast, but check it out. Look where it goes. Goes to my engine computer. How did I miss that? How did I miss that? That's a huge mistake. Huge mistake. You know what we're gonna find? Mice on a wire. It never needed this module. Gotta own it. Gotta own it. We're almost done. I mean, unless we need another part. And it is a bad tank pressure sensor. Remember, we gotta bolt this module up still too. All right, so my fuel tank pressure sensor wiring is dark green, gray, and gray brown. Yeah. How did I mess that up, Caleb? How did I mess that up? Those wire colors aren't even there. There's no dark green wire in here because I was never looking at the right sensor. That's why. That's how I messed it up. All right, I'm gonna find this wiring. I think it could be in here. Oh, it turns into tan. Sorry, it's tan, gray, and dark green. The wires change. That is tan. So it's these wires right here. So these wires, this one changes up at the ECM. So tan, gray, and dark green. Those are my 3 wires for my tank pressure sensor. I want to do a real good visual here. I'm going to take a look inside this connector too. Make sure it's not green and cruddy. It is not. And then we want to look real close at the wiring for this. It goes up above the tank and I cannot see it. I was hoping to have some mouse chewed wiring right here, and I'm just not seeing it. Let's get a couple voltage readings. Pretty sure that's it. I'll just use the graphing meter. Don't need anything crazy for this. Should be gray. That's 3.5 volts. I gotta check my ground though. Yeah, so that's just not a good ground. That's my 5-volt ref. That's my reference voltage to my tank pressure sensor. Then it was green was another one. Reading 1.4 volts. That's great. You know what that means? That means we don't have to drop the tank. Our problem is that way, up under the hood. It's so awesome. And then this should be the ground for the sensor. Yep. So I have a tank pressure sensor reading. It's the green wire. Let's go make sure the diagram shows us that. It's showing me 1.4 volts. Dark green, yeah, that's my signal. Sweet. So we got to find that wire. It goes inside the car, then comes out of the car up there and into the ECM. So we got to go back that way under the hood. And hopefully we got some chewed wiring, a green wire. Let's see if we can see it from here. That goes to my ECM.
Let me see my set. Up there, that harness?
Right between here. Right between here. That's my problem.
I can see it from right here.
I'm so freaking mad. I'm so mad I missed that. Why did I have tunnel vision? There's multiple wires that are broken and chewed right there. I'm really angry right now at myself.
I'm angry at you
I'm
too.
really angry at myself.
I could be home with a cup of coffee right now.
I need my brother. We get some comedic relief here. You stay where you're at. Hey, Danner, can you come here for a second? I'll tell you what I did.
I heard you.
Did you?
I remember when you measured it, you're like, I'm seeing 3.5 volts, but it's showing 0 on the scanner, and you thought it was a transmission between the two.
Correct.
But then I heard you say you were looking to fuel pressure inside the module.
So I was
not the fuel tank
I was looking at the
pressure.
wrong sensor.
Yeah.
That never needed a module. That was a complete miscall. And so I already told everyone I'm going to eat that. That's going to be on me.
Oh, man, I'm doubling the price.
This is a friend of mine. So listen, where I went wrong is the fuel rail pressure sensor is what feeds back to that, which would make sense.
Yeah.
That's the one responsible for making sure fuel rail pressure is correct. The whole time I'm talking, I'm like, oh, that's the fuel tank pressure. It was not. The fuel tank pressure sensor comes up to the ECM.
Okay. So I gotta drop the fuel tank.
No.
No?
No.
Where is it?
Take a look right here and you'll see where the green wire is my fuel tank. Right here. Look, or yeah, no, right here is good too. The green wire is my fuel tank pressure sensor signal wire.
You're gonna fix the air conditioning while
See
you're
the
here?
harness?
No, what are you pointing at?
Right there.
Oh, holy
Freaking
Wow.
yes.
well,
Yeah. What? Oh, wait. Yeah. Exactly. That's like
what's
dumb.
that broken
You
wire?
stupid mother. Me.
Hey,
That's.
you can't say that. They're gonna pull your ads.
I'm bleep. We it.
Oh.
We you all the time.
All y'all.
See, huge up. Huge.
I've seen worse.
How am I going to get that harness into a place where I can repair it?
I mean, the key on, man. I hear.
I do, but I have the charger on it too. We're fine.
I wonder if that's why the AC don't work up in there too.
It could be. They've got more than one broken wire. No!
Oh no!
Wait.
Wait for it. Oh, it's a plastic ball.
Wait. Ah! You can find that on my Amazon page. We gotta make some money back from this car. It's costing me money. Ah, Caleb, I'm stupid.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Let me see your knife. I'm gonna put a jumper on this and then show everyone that this is our problem. And then I'm gonna have Danner probably repair it from this point, just because I'm eating a whole bunch of this already. And Danner can, you know, this is the part of the repair that the customer needs to pay for, because this is the part that needed to be done in the first place. And I blew it. I'll take care of our screw up, and then Danner can charge Jared to do this repair. Did you hear me, Danner?
It sounds like I'm gonna step away from it. I can't reach it. Danner can do it.
No, here's what I said. I said, this is the part of the job that Jared should have been billed for, not the part that I screwed up. I mean, this is gonna suck to do. And so whatever time you have in this is your legit labor repairs, and I'm gonna pay for the rest of this. Okay?
Yeah, no big deal.
All right. But I'm probably gonna hand this back to you and have you fix it.
Yeah.
I'm
Good
just
saying he doesn't need it right away.
I'm just going to run a jumper wire so I can show everyone that this is actually our problem.
Did you find out what's wrong with the AC yet?
No. Probably one of these wires in here. Do we got more than one broken one?
See, there was two right here that were chewed up.
Dude.
And I fixed those. Well, at least you don't have to drop the tank.
At least we don't have to drop the tank. Boy, what a major screw up. Major screw up. Scan tool, engine, data display. Check it out. 1.5 volts. 1.5 volts on the scan tool. Big mistake by me, as we were saying. Let me clear these faults. I have a vent solenoid control circuit code now too, Danner, which means we got other broken wires right there. We didn't have a vent control code before. We do now. But it does have other damaged wires in here. Let's clear these. Am I fussy? Yeah. I am fussy.
Yes, he is.
I am fussy.
Yes, he is.
That's a great question. I'm super fussy. It's a brush. All right, no codes present. Did you?
Another wire for the vent up there.
Did you have that unbolted or unplugged?
It's unbolted.
You didn't unplug it though. I had a vent control code that I've never seen before. Just when we get in here, I think we'd be able to pull that harness up from the top maybe if we unbolt the engine computer. Okay. But I'm leaving this one on you, Danner. Okay. Are you okay with that? Yep. So we got to fix the rest of the wiring there. I made a huge mistake in interpreting just a diagram of a fuel tank pressure sensor and fuel rail pressure sensor and getting the two mixed up. completely my fault. I should have thought through it logically. It makes a lot more sense that the fuel rail pressure sensor would be going to the fuel pump control module, because that's what's controlling fuel pressure. I just had tunnel vision, and it was my mistake. Hope you guys learned something from this. Remember, when you do programming, sometimes you need to do a cap discharge or a battery disconnect, as the program told us. And that is why the ABS light was on. When I turned the key off and waited, started it back up, no light on, no codes. Man, I hope you guys learned something from this one. I know that this one was super frustrating for me, and I'm not too happy about it right now. But I think in the end, Caleb can work his magic and make this entertaining to watch and put it all together for you. So guys, thanks for joining us. And yeah, we'll catch you next time. I'm really angry right now at myself.
I'm angry at you
I'm
too.
really angry at myself. Freaking yes. Yeah. What? Oh, wait. Yeah. Exactly. Huge.
I've seen worse.
No.
No.
Ah.